Attention passengers, this is your Captain Necro Sama speaking, and you're watching Top Flight Reads, our weekly YouTube series where we go on the internet, find graphic novels, read them aloud to you, give you our feedback and commentary. We're going to start off with our introductions as per usual. Again, I'm your Captain Necro Sama. Sitting to my left is your co-pilot, Chiza. Please introduce yourself.
Attention, passengers. It is a sunny insert day of the week here morning. This is Tiza, the serious one speaking. Today, we are going to be taking off to look at Tower of God, Chapter 3, Season 1. Look to be a decent, little bit of weather outside. It's going to be a nice, smooth ride. We're enjoying this so far. We hope you do too. Flight attendants, take it away.
This is your flight attendant, Stormrave. If I happen to have my hand in whatever snack jar we have today, it wasn't me. Enjoy it. Enjoy your flight.
Hello and welcome to the flight. I am your flight attendant, Emiel, and the snack of today is Tiza's favorite, chocolate chip cookies. I hope you enjoy yourselves.
Look, you already know who this is. Sit down, shut up, strap in. We got a nice ride for you today.
All right, passengers, it is time for takeoff. As our less than pleasant flight attendant said, strap in because the seatbelt lights are turning off. You are about to experience liftoff in 3 minus 1, 0 plus 1. Take off.
In the darkness, she was my star. She taught me how to speak, told me about the outer world, taught me the warmth of humans, and gave me a reason to live. Since my birth, I was trapped in darkness. I've never laid down under the night sky before. But when she joined my darkness, the sky above, twinkle, sparkle, became a beautiful night sky.
You might die.
I don't mind.
Grab.
For me, there's something worse than death.
Tower of God. Head-on's floor. 03. Ice rink.
Although I agreed to let him go, there seems to be no chance he'll beat this test.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fresh meat? Hey, Mr. A-Rank Navigator. Got any good ideas on how you can win?
Honestly, the difference in strength is too deep. You can only hope for a miracle.
You think so too, huh?
She doesn't even use my name. She doesn't even know my name. Actually, there is one way he can win. The only way that the boy
Flappity flap flap
can pass this test.
It's kind of small, but I haven't eaten in decades.
There exists an overwhelming difference between the two. Of course, the boy will avoid fighting the eel. He will try to escape from it and go directly to the ball to pop it. But that is impossible. In that high concentration of shinsu, the eel is extremely fast. The boy can't escape from it inside the shinsu. If he wants to win, he shouldn't try to escape. The only way to pass this test is to fight the eel instead. Of course, he can't fight the eel face to face. That's dumb. He could never beat the eel that way. For the hungry eel, the boy is not an enemy. He's just a little snack. If he doesn't resist, the eel will swallow him whole, as many before him. But that's his chance to strike. After the eel swallows the boy without doubt, with poise and accuracy, stab down the eel's tongue with the Black March. Other weapons might not work, but with Black March, the boy can do considerable damage and knock out the eel for a while. And when the eel is in pain, he can outrun the eel to the ball, pop it. If he can do that, he can pass the test and go on to the next level. But I can't show this path to the boy. That'd be cheating. Navigators can only show paths to those who can walk the path. But this boy can't do it. So he will eventually fail. Well, actually, no one can do it. Only the insane could actually do something that crazy. That's why I didn't tell him. Rather than letting him die with false hope, it is better for him to be saved by Lady Yuri after running for hours and realizing his limit. Now, run. Discover your limit and weakness, and give up your quest up the tower. It's the only way you can survive.
Nani?
What? He's not running away.
What's wrong with him? Why is he just standing there? What is he doing? Hey, you! What are you doing?
What?
Run! Run away and get to the bull! You idiot!
That's why I'm the navigator. Why isn't he running away?
What are you doing?
Has he frozen in fear?
I have so much riding on you. Hey, you! Run, you idiot!
No, it's not that he...
Are you nuts? Are you daft in the head? I'm still talking to you.
He's trying to get inside the eel. Did he know the way to win? That's impossible. It's in my brain. Brain can't talk. It's in my brain. Is he able to walk that path?
He's gone?
That fool. I can't believe he did it.
Gosh, has he gone mad? Damn, I have to get him out. I have an investment in there.
No, my lady, don't go. That's the answer.
Nani?
That is the answer. That's why I'm the navigator.
I repeat myself. Nani? What kind of bullschnitzel is that? What do you mean getting eaten is the answer, huh?
It's not that.
Something feels weird about this snack here. Not what?
Look there.
Do snacks normally break people's lips? Like, something ain't right about it.
Are you not entertained?
He made it out? He stabbed it? From inside?
You can't handle the truth.
Yes, facing the eel without struggling. That is the only way to pass this test.
Gotta stick the landing real quick. You had me at hello!
What is he doing?
I don't know.
But in order to do that, he needs enormous courage, determination, and judgment. Or extreme stupidity. That's what this test is about, right, Mr. Head-On?
Might as well be positive.
Evan, why didn't you tell him about the path from the start?
It doesn't really help, usually. You know that. Most of the time, even if one can think of it, they can't follow through. Courage and determination aren't exhibited so easily. Courage is built on confidence due to exhaustive training. But what he has is nothing like courage or bravery. The fear of losing the one he's looking for.
Same type attack bonus.
Is swallowing his other fears. He's out of his mind, that boy.
It doesn't pop? But I popped it!
Clearly you didn't.
Apparently not.
What? What's wrong with that? Hey, head on. What's wrong with that bowl? Why won't it pop?
Well, you see.
Well? Seriously, are you daft? A ball that doesn't pop for the Black March? Even I haven't seen one of those.
Well,
Ugh.
maybe it's really well made.
Tower of God. To be continued.
Dun dun
snap.
dun!
All right, passengers, we have reached a proper elevation of 34,000 feet. You are now free to roam about the cabin. We are going to be unlocking the seatbelts, so you are free to go toward the snack bars, go to the lavatories, whatever the frick you need to do. Now then, as you do so, listen to the soothing sounds of our deliberation.
All right, so we've reached the end of the chapter. So we're gonna do what we do with our new format and talk about it in 3 different sections: art, story, and characters. Let's just hop right into it with art. Is there really anything we can say that hasn't been said already?
Yes. There's a lot of, as usual, there are a lot of good one-off shots. The coloring is pretty spot on. Flow of the dialogue, panel placement, everything's as it should be. There are just a few one-off shots like this. Shots like that looks kind of weird, where they try to show the faces at an angle. I don't know, they look kind of weird to me. Just these. Other than that, I got pretty much no problems with the art.
They did the backgrounds really well again, like especially like in the very first page. Like that was another one of those I'd buy that as a print type thing.
It'd also be really nice as a t-shirt.
Mhm.
One thing that I wonder is like, did they like? I wonder what kind of brush they used or what kind of blending technique they used.
Right then, so also as per usual, human art, decent at best. Storm's already pointed out a couple things I was going to bring up myself in regard to pieces that, probably didn't receive as much attention. But conversely, we got more art of the wagon this time around. To see all of its majestic white armored eel glory. He's the best looking character in this chapter.
I will say one thing about the art, Storm, you're actually in the right spot. There's a thing that I've been noticing since chapter 1 that I've really been wanting them to mention, but they haven't. And there's these background things with glowy eyes. And I don't know if those are supposed to be, I think if they're supposed to be golems or something that's going to come to life later. But I kept thinking like, oh crap, stuff's about to go down, because I keep seeing these glowy-eyed statue-esque things against the wall, and I really wish, like, that's pretty much the only place I think they are in this chapter. I could be wrong, but they've been in every chapter, so I wonder if they are going to play a bigger role later on. And if so, that'd honestly be really cool for those to be like in the other 2 chapters as well. I love the dragon, even though it's an eel. It looks exactly like a leviathan that you would find in Subnautica, and it's amazingly, like, it gives you a sense of dread seeing how big it is compared to Bam. Like,
It's the best drawn character, I'm telling you.
no, I know, I love it. Like, that's one of the reasons why, like, I was so excited to see that they would try to draw big, gigantic creatures, because they really went for it, and they succeeded, and I'm happy. Also, that blood shading, good job. Like, it heaves your jeebies, but in the right way. Like, because it's like the eye shading. Like, I could talk about the dragon all day. So overall, I'm very pleased.
Also, just on this page right here, I saw more of Bam's crush than I would like to.
Oh my god.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next section, which is characters. All right, anyone want to start?
Really not a lot to say though, because we have the same amount of characters. Which, don't get me wrong, I enjoy that. I'm glad that we didn't meet anybody new in this chapter, because this chapter was focusing on the tests, on the actual tests, and it would have just been jarring to have another person just pop up in the middle of the test. So I'm so glad that we did not meet anybody new. I'm glad though that we still got a little bit of characterization from the other ones that were already introduced. Like we could see that short guy.
Evan.
I'm saving that for story. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm glad they didn't add any more characters, and I still like all the characters so far.
For me, I said last chapter that Bam didn't really stand out much, and it wasn't a bad thing. But now, like I know this is kind of a story thing, but he did his thing this chapter. Main character moment, so good for him. I also like how Evan got a little bit more of the spotlight too, because he was narrating through a lot of the chapter. So Bam and Evan really took it for me this chapter.
Not really talking about the characters themselves, but okay.
It's like, yeah, we did get new characters. We got a little bit of more info on how they are, how Bam acts, right? He's not even the typical dumb, headstrong main character. He's like, you know what? If this is what I gotta do, this is what I gotta do. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna be about it. I'm just gonna do it.
So much so to the point where all other emotions mean nothing to him.
Hey, my man's got focus.
Yeah. This kind of borders on laser targeted. Like, he doesn't fear anything. He isn't courageous at all. He just wants to do what he got to do. It's almost unsettling in a way.
I was just gonna say that I don't know if it was Evan or if Bam was thinking it, but it's not that he wasn't scared. He was just trying to act in spite of his fear.
That's what I just said. All other emotions mean nothing to him in the face of trying to complete this one thing.
He's goal-oriented like Tiza when Tiza's driving and the heckin' like GPS says go here and then everybody else is hungry. Like goal-oriented.
No.
I'm not wrong.
That's a pretty decent comparison, though.
No, it is. I was thinking about. I was explaining Tiza to my mom yesterday, and that's like how I was like, I explained a lot of things, and then I used that as one of my other examples. I'm like, Tiza's just a goal-oriented person. Bam is currently goal-oriented. However, that was a way that Evan described him. Evan, like, this is all Evan's, like, guessing, but he's got good intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why he's the navigator, and Lady Yuri is not. Like, he knows how to get through each floor. He knows how things work. That's his job. That's why a small kid like him survived in this type of this type of place. However, Bam didn't necessarily know this. It's just, this is just what he did in the moment. I thought it was really interesting that they didn't describe him. Well, no, I need to save that for story.
All right, on story. I like that opening. I don't know who that was, though.
I think that was Rachel.
That's what I thought too.
Could be. That makes sense.
I
Let's
think
look
he
over
meant like later because there was somebody who like the person that she taught looks like Bam with long hair. Like if you go down a bit.
Do they, though?
I mean, kind of. It's a back shot, right?
That could be Bam with long hair.
That could be Bam.
It could be.
I have no idea.
Cause like, scroll down to Bam, like the first time you actually see Bam.
No, wait. Scroll. Oh.
Wait, no. Keep going.
Oh my god.
Right there. You see? Okay, just a little bit. Just there you go. You see that type of hair? It could have been cut from that length.
I mean, the one with the long hair could be Bam.
That type of hair. That is like super standard anime ruffle hair. That could be anybody.
And he ain't got locks, so therefore it matches.
Man, look.
He ain't got that spiky, Eastern style hair. I'm not just gonna say anime. He ain't got that spiky manga anime hair. He ain't got that Yu-Gi-Oh hair.
His hair is realistic for the most part.
It gave us a nice look into if that is Bam's character, and like a little bit of his motivation, like why he's falling after this girl so much. At first, it's just like, oh, she's just a friend, and I don't want you to leave. Oh no, he's actually a leech, and he needs her. So
Why he gotta be a leech?
Where'd you
It's
get
like
that
his
from?
mom.
I don't mean like in a negative way. I mean like she's helping him, and like I don't know, what's the word? I couldn't find a better word than leech, but you know what I mean. She's helping him. He's attached to her more so than just a little buddy or a friend.
Well, yeah, because she kind of gave him all his education.
I think it was good to start the chapter that way because it then like reinforces that later in the chapter when they're talking about, oh, he's super goal oriented, he's not necessarily like super courageous or like smart or anything like that. He's just very goal focused. This helps. Like they reminded us of why he has this goal, and I thought that was good. Like without this, I think we would have been like, oh yeah, thinking back to like previous chapters versus like, oh, we have more of the goal now. Makes more sense. Things are a bit clearer.
Yeah, I was fine with it.
I liked it.
It shows that she's not just a pretty face,
Mm-hmm.
which I wouldn't have thought to begin with, but maybe he might have had that
God
perspective. I
dang!
don't know. I'm just saying. That might have been Bam's interpretation based on what we knew of him so far, but now we see it's not that.
In terms of actual events, nothing really happened in this chapter. But
He passed the test.
I mean, in terms of,
Did he?
No.
in terms of story beats, it's fight the eel. He's totally not going to do. Oh, he did.
No, he has to pop the
Oh, he
balloon
has to
mode
actually
win.
pop it. So
Yeah,
he has to-
no.
Pop the bubble.
But he
Yeah,
has
that's
to
what he
pop
does.
it.
I mean, he did, but just because you gave something a paper cut doesn't mean you win.
No, I'm just saying he did something.
He did.
He attempted to stab it, and he did 0 damage.
He
I thought he
did
cut
damage.
it like tongue. I thought he cut his tongue.
No, that was the
It's
white
about-
armored eel. That's not the test.
Oh, and then the ball itself. Well, remember she said there is no bubble that the Black March cannot pop. He was like, well, maybe I'm cheating.
He didn't put it like that, but yeah.
Basically, like
Well,
maybe.
maybe I'm cheating.
I had it. Okay. I had it totally wrong. The chapter does have substance. I mean, like, not a lot happens. I mean, like, is he gonna? It's like I said. He's going to. They think he's gonna die. The eel's gonna eat him. The eel doesn't eat him, and he's actually squaring up.
Storm, it definitely did. The
But what
secret
that-
to passing the test is legit having it eat you.
Which, actually, speaking of that, that was my only, not really a problem, but not really a preference of mine. Like, I feel like the moment of the eel eating him would have been a lot stronger if we didn't know that the eel had to eat him right before the eel ate him. Like, I get it because it showed us how, I guess, how much smarter Evan is than tall female counterpart. Because she didn't know what was needed, and he knew what was needed, and that was a good thing to show. But at the same time, I think that they could have did that a different way rather than like showing us exactly what he needed to do. Well, telling us exactly what he needed to do right before it actually happens. Because just imagine like we would be reading it and we didn't know that the eel had to eat him for him to even have a chance to pass the test, and then you just see the eel going right at him, and he's just standing there like, yeah, eat me right now and see what happens.
You know what? That gives me an idea.
Oh gosh.
Not saying that the way this was written was bad, but now that you mention that, Akashic, how I would have done it is I would have led with the eel eating him, and then like after he tries to, and then like I don't know, somewhere in there, like basically like he gets like we get this whole inner dissertation from Evan like after he escapes from the eel.
Yeah.
It was like that was his only. I think it was like just his only chance. I don't think it was everyone's only chance. It's just yo, bro, you might be kind of weak. Your only chance to cut it from the inside.
Right, but which again, I would have
Hercules.
just like what Storm said. I think it would have been better, like Storm said, if the eel ate him, and then we saw like everything transpire, and then the whole time, Tall Chick is confused, like what are you doing? Why are you allowing it to eat you, and all that type of stuff. And then when he gets back out of the eel after stabbing in the tongue, that's when Evan would explain it.
I would have cheated.
I would have preferred it that way. I'm not saying that the way that they did it is bad. I'm not saying that
Right.
it's bad writing. I just in my personal preference, I would have liked it better at the end.
I would have cheated. I would have just pulled a Hercules and like get swallowed, and everybody like, "Up, well, that's game, right, as expected," and then cut off the head from the inside.
That's more or less what happened.
But then you would have gotten a Disney strike from me.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Why didn't he? But that's technically what he did, so why doesn't he get a Disney strike?
Wait, he didn't.
He didn't cut his neck from the inside, Storm.
He stabbed it a bit.
He stabbed his tongue.
Which made it open its mouth. Which made the dragon open its mouth.
Hercules cuts off the entire neck 360 degrees.
I'm aware.
That's different.
Well, it's not the same thing.
Anyway, Val,
But either way, counterpoint. Okay, say that that they were to change things like you guys did. So say I would prefer a little bit of build up to the eel because just him getting eaten by it I think would just be I wouldn't care as much. A little bit of build up would have been nice. However, say that he gets eaten. Heckin' Lady Yuri's freaking out. Evan's sitting there in silence, not explaining until after he stabs the eel a bit, and then the eel opens his mouth and lets him go. And then Lady Yuri's like, "What is he doing? He's crazy." And then Evan starts to explain. My thing is that would make Evan not seem as reliable. He's just talking out, he's just talking to talk. Because think about it like this. It's really easy to say that somebody, this was the way somebody should have done something after they've already succeeded. Saying it, I think this was to, try to show, how credible Evan is supposed to be. Because he's this is how you need to do it. This is the way that Bam would need to do it to succeed. Versus the, Bam did it this way, and that was the only way he could have succeeded. So I feel we would have been yeah, we can see that it worked. So why are you talking?
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
Well, no, I was gonna say, and also because then later, rather than calling Bam dumb, or he starts talking Bam up, he's or courageous or anything like that. He's just doing what he has to do, goal oriented. He's making all of these assumptions, to get us to think a specific way. But I don't think I would believe in Evan as much, in his abilities, if he said it after it already happened.
To counter that counterpoint, I would say there would still be a way for Evan to show that he already knew what was needed before saying it beforehand. Because if you think about it, remember when he said it and then the eel ate him, and then as soon as the eel ate him, right before he stabbed the eel and just spit back out, that's when Tall Chick was going crazy. And then he was trying to calm her down. If he would have if everything would have happened without him saying anything, and then the eel ate him, and then she would have been going crazy, and then he would stop her no, this is the only way. This is the only way. It has to be that way. Don't worry, he's actually doing what he needs to do. That would already tell us that okay, Evan obviously knows what he needs to do already. So that would tell us that without him literally telling us what he needs to do. And then at the same time, he could explain things while it's happening. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an anime where it actually does this example, but when we're being shown, that Bam has, or is that his name? Bam.
Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If we're being shown Bam stabbing the tongue while Evan is explaining that he had to stab the tongue to do it.
See, I would
perfect example.
Appreciated that.
Perfect example is in Dragon Ball Z when Goku fought Raccoon and he did something that even the eyes couldn't travel, and then we were just looking at Vegeta react to it, and then after everything already went down, that's when we were told that Vegeta actually saw what he was doing. He just didn't say anything about it at first. Instead of saying as soon as Goku got there, oh well, if he's fast enough to elbow him, so that attack won't mean anything, and then it happens, it takes away all the tension in the scene. For me personally.
No, I agree, but I was just saying if it was all at the end. If it was happening while it was happening. Okay, sorry. If Evan was talking and explaining as it was happening, I do agree that it would be way more powerful. I honestly would have liked that layout a lot. But what I was talking about was what you guys had said, which was that Evan explains after it happens, which would, to me, make him unreliable. But
that wouldn't have much impact to it.
Right. But if he explains while Bam is doing it, that would be my favorite out of the 3 scenarios.
In all honesty, I think it was more or less a wall of text with him just staring at the eel and short explaining what he needs to do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all agree that that's not the best way to go about it, but
No, I agree with that.
I'm thinking, what if he would have been like, there's only one way he can actually win, and then in the next panel, it shows the eel eat him, instead of him explaining it during or after or before. And then like after he cuts him out, he's like, it's like he eats him. He's like, holy shit, Taki mushrooms. This kid might actually know what he's doing. And she's like, wait, what are you talking? And then he cuts the thing's head off or cuts his tongue or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I would have preferred to see. Only because it just took the tension out of everything. Because if you tell me that the eel has to eat this boy, and then what? A couple pages later, I see the eel eat him. Well, I don't care, because now I know that. Well, all right, good, he got eaten. But if I didn't know that he had to eat him, and then I saw that he got eaten, holy crap, he just ate him.
Dog, he's the real protagonist. That wouldn't change your opinion either way.
It would change my opinion, because I knew that he would get out of it, but it would still be the thing of, whoa, he ate him, what is he going to do to get out of it, instead of already knowing exactly what he's going to do and exactly what he needs to do to get out of it.
Wound your opponent to distract them so you can escape.
Yes, but it's the how, not the what. Obviously, I already knew that if he got eaten, he would have to get out of it some way, somehow. But that's the interesting part. The how. We were already told the how before the what even happened.
I'm just going to say this much.
Well, you're not going to damage an armored opponent from the outside.
Exactly, but what part of the inside is he going to do to get out of it? It's the how.
Man, all of inside is solved. That's the point.
Exactly, but that's still all just a what. We knew exactly what he had to do right before he had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure anyone with eyes would make this conclusion.
No, because not everyone would automatically assume that he's going to stab his tongue.
Actually, you know what's better? If he freaking, it's just, him saying what he needs to do and then him doing it it takes away from the moment. If he had told him what he needed to do and then he did something completely different and still managed to get the job done, it would have been better. Or any of the other situations we said, it's just that situation just took away from it.
I have an idea.
Scroll back up to that explanation.
While I'm scrolling up, the way I was looking at it was, I thought that he was going to do something different than what was being explained. If that had happened, that would have been amazing.
I would have been fine with that.
Because I don't think he said specifically to cut the tongue or anything.
He said cut it from the inside.
He said he has to cut his tongue to get him to let go. I believe he said something like that.
It said something about swallowing him. It's way above that.
Stab down on the eel's tongue with the black march. So I already knew what he had to do before he even got eaten.
His tongue is bleeding. Also,
I think that's still based on perspective. Also, we haven't been recording for a while.
He already said it.
No. See, it's one thing to know what you have to do. It's another thing if someone actually goes through with it or not.
You can see right there, the tongue is bleeding.
No, I'm talking about whether Bam would actually go through with it or not. That was Evan's whole point. Like, yeah. That's also the reason he didn't tell him in the first place, because even if he did, he wasn't expecting him to have the resolve to actually do it.
Right, yeah. But now the reader already knows what we are expecting him to do or not do. That's my issue with it.
Solution. We don't know what he was going to do.
That's what we're saying. It's a possible solution, and then he does that exact possible solution.
I don't want any possible. See, my purpose. I don't want any possible solutions. I want, if I'm reading this, I want to just see what's going on, and then me learn as he learns what he has to do.
I'm with Akashi.
And it's based on perspective.
You
see it as a spoiler. I see it as is he actually going to do it?
No, I'm gonna have to go with Akashic on this one, because the only time, in my personal opinion, the only time explaining the future plot works is if something different is going to happen than what the reader expects. It's a basic literary term. I don't know what it's called, but subversion of it. But it's basically a typical
version of expectations.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to say.
It's still based on perspective.
I know that. That's why I just said. That's why I led off with it's my personal preference of what I wanted to see.
I'm aware, and I'm saying that's why I like the way they currently did it. Neither one of us is wrong. I'm just saying either way is based on how you perceive it. Like,
It
I didn't
does-
perceive that as spoiling what was going to happen.
If he does, basically, at the very least, if character A says that character B would or should do something, and then character B actually does it, it does dampen the surprise because it was literally laid out for us. At the very least, it dampens the surprise.
You ignore nuance to that. It's one thing if A
No,
says
I'm not.
B has to do. Yes, you are, and I'm about to explain why. It's one thing if A says B has to do this, and there's like no risk involved. It's another thing entirely if doing that thing is like contrary to how pretty much any normal person would act in a situation.
But to be fair, there's no risk involved here because it's only the 3rd chapter. So we already knew that he was going to get out of it.
And realistically, most people with half a brain would panic or try to run.
Which is
So
why
I guess
it's based on your perspective, Storm. That's what I'm saying. You can see it as spoiling, that's fine. I didn't see it that way. I just saw it as, was he actually going to do it? Because we can all admit, that's crazy. That thing is massive.
I will admit when I was reading this, the first instinct I got would be to make a run for it. But Evan did do a good job of explaining why that would be stupid. So
yes, these are the types of discussions we need to have recorded. This is probably the most like in-depth story session we've had so far.
And
Oh no, we're not recording.
Yeah, we
I think we are.
recording.
I know. I'm not. I was making a joke. That would have been
fucking
horrible.
we freaking better be.
Frick you.
Look,
Need a shirt for that?
Everyone's gonna have a shirt. Oh man! All right. Anyone have anything else on El Stare, or shall we end this section?
it created a lot of expectation. I
That
will
was
agree on
pretty
that.
much the whole chapter right there.
Oh,
Yeah, we did just run through the whole dang. See, and you know what? That's why I like this new format better because we don't have to worry about cutting our conversation so we can go on and read the next page. We can just talk now.
Yeah.
Talk about the ball.
We still can't overdo it with the talking. Oh yeah, the ball. We haven't said anything
Nobody
about the
care about
cliffhanger.
that ball.
Oh,
Bro,
shit.
No,
The
no.
ball,
See,
the
but
ball is
actually-
important. What are you talking
See,
about? What are you
see,
talking about?
No, see,
Senor
actually, no, 'cause
Slurpy Face.
this is actually a perfect example of what I was talking about. Now, can you imagine after he got out of there, Evan was like, "Well, if he stabs the ball, it probably won't break." Like, okay, what?
No, see, that
No, if
doesn't
you look-
make sense in this situation.
No, it's
No.
like
Yeah.
Because
If
the
you
black
stab
punch was
the
stated
ball-
to be something that can pierce anything.
now if you would have said if he stabs the black ball, it's not going to break because Slurpy Face probably doesn't want him to be here, and probably rigged it for him. And then he stabs the ball and doesn't break, and then Slurpy Face is like, well, maybe because I cheated. You're like, oh, well, we already know that. Like, we had a feeling because we were already told that. And then they say the name of the school 3 times on the same page.
Look,
Don't you bring that back up? Don't you bring that back up?
nah, like, the
Don't do
reason I wanted
that.
to
Don't
bring
do
up-
that. Don't
The
do
reason
that.
I was bringing up the ball is because we were already told the Black March is supposed to be able to pop anything because it's the ultimate needle, made for stabbing, as Storm pointed out last time. And yet, nothing. What's up with that? What's the deal with airline food?
That's that Ichigo out here showing off all his power. Like, yo, I just got Bankai. I'm the best. I'm about to cut you down. And Aizen said, nah, look at his finger, though.
Dude, look at that.
No.
That barely did anything. What's up with that? That creates intrigue to me.
Basically, Bam couldn't do anything with his black Zangetsu.
It's a needle. It's not a kitchen knife.
Black Tensa Zangetsu.
It's a needle. Or at least that's how it was translated.
Alrighty.
I want to see what happens with that ball next, though.
Yo,
Talking
Tiza.
about some, the ball is not that important.
She's out blue.
I didn't
Yeah.
tell you guys this whole time. And I was like, why is everyone talking over me? But nope, it was just hacking my audio.
None of us
Oh.
can hear you.
Okay, do you remember in the last chapter, they were like, why the frick would you pick the Black March? Like, there's something wrong with you? Like, that's the worst choice because there's something, obviously, that is going, like, some sort of backlash or something that's going to happen to the Black March. And Head-On's like, that's the only one he's allowed to use. And then they're like, well, obviously the ball's going to pop because Black March, but Head-On specifically chose the Black March because it couldn't do the job, apparently. Like, honestly, he could probably just put the ball in the eel's mouth and it popped by the eel's teeth or whatever. But I think it's
I love
kind
to
of
see how
weird.
we pulled that off.
Easy. Just heckin' the eel's gonna try to eat him again. Hold it out. Heckin' ball pops. But and then just heckin' you could stab it again probably as long as you're quick. But either way, what I was gonna say is they Head-On chose the Black March for a reason. Like, and the reason was obviously that there's something, like, I was talking about, like, maybe there's some sort of backlash off chapter, but it's probably just because it can't do what it's supposed to do here. Like, either this is made out of unpoppable Black March material or something else. But, like, don't you think, like, wouldn't you assume that? Because I don't think it was supposed to be super OP. I just think it was... I just think that's the reason why Head-On would choose it. Like, the material that it's made of is even the same color, so... Thoughts?
I do
So
find
you're
it
thinking they
suspicious.
might have similar durability.
Mm-hmm. Because it goes through it, but it doesn't pop.
Well, then again, maybe he just. I could see that he made this ball out of Black March material for some reason.
Like, for example, you guys know, like, bulletproof vests? They're made to be bulletproof, but they're not knife-proof. Because, like, everything, like, when it's made for a specific if a material or something is made for a specific purpose, it does its purpose well. But if something else takes that head on, it tends to have a better chance. So if it was made to, if it was made to defend against the Black March, then it obviously wouldn't pop.
Normally they're supposed to pop.
Yeah, he did. Head-On did say that. Maybe it's because of how it's made.
Like, it's interesting because, like, maybe the Black March is only used to, like, its only use is to fight the eel, because you remember Bam has the rusty cleaver or whatever he has, like, in his back pocket. I don't know if that'd do anything to the ball either.
Funny. He specifically told him, was like, yo, yeah, you can give him a weapon. It has to be the Black March though.
Right, which is why I'm like, that's so weird, because they were like, why? No, the Black March is the worst pick. Like, even though it's like such a high level weapon.
So it's the greatest weapon.
No,
right.
It's not that it was the worst pick. It's that that's supposed to be reserved for princesses.
Yeah, it was the most dangerous pick.
Like,
yeah.
It's like he planned this almost like, yo, I know she's gonna come here and be herself. Let me plan all of this. Let me pull a Eisen.
Yeah.
But I also wonder one other thing. Like, what if it's not that it's made of Black March material? Maybe just like how he attacked the eel, he has to attack the ball in a different way in order to pop it.
That would also be a really good way of going about it.
All right, passengers, that ends our deliberation portion. We're going to click that seatbelt light back on, so return to your seats, click in. We are about to make our descent into the airport. Final thoughts.
All right, so
better than
section on
Rakuto.
final. All right, so section on final. All right, so we're gonna give our final thoughts. Decent chapter, flowed nicely. Other than the short stack, giving away the next scene, I enjoyed it. Eel is drawn well. Seeing your slurpy face is awesome and slightly creepy. And it seems like he's a mastermind. And he's a troll. Yeah. Anyone else?
Wait, would you keep reading?
I think I will continue this to see where it goes. See why the ball didn't pop. See what head-on directly apply directly to the forehead is planning. See what happens on the next floor if he makes it that far, which I'm going to assume he does. I would go on chapter 4, 5, and 6 and 7, etc. Anyone else?
It's as I said before. In terms of story beats, not that much happened, but I like the buildup of expectation, and the chapter had a lot of substance. I would definitely continue reading.
I believe this chapter was amazing, actually, because it was one of those chapters where, like, it seems like not a lot is going on, but just like how we were just able to have just this big discussion of what could be happening, which a lot of us really don't know yet. I love chapters like that because, sure, if you think about it, all he did was get eaten, stab his tongue, and then pop a ball that didn't pop. At the same time, it still generated so much of just thoughts of what's going on. Why is this happening that way? Why does he know that, but she doesn't? Why is Hey Bomb the way Hey Bomb is?
Bam. And head on.
I don't know
Head
why I
on.
keep saying Hey Bomb. I
I
don't know.
Because you have Glow of a Shadow on the mind.
I'm
Why
just
do you
gonna.
guys think about my series?
It's because
on.
Head On and Hey Bomb. I don't know. I just interchanged the two.
Mel,
I mean, this is Korean
this is
too,
good,
so-
Mel.
Maybe I feel like
you're
Hey
being
Bomb should be
mentioned.
slurping too. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
My boy
Yes.
alone.
I do not like where this is going.
That means you.
Oh, what I keep reading.
Yeah.
Not only would I keep reading, I'm going to watch this because that is an anime adaptation. I'm definitely going to be watching. But if I had to, if reading was the only choice, absolutely, I would continue reading this.
I made a bet with myself at the end of chapter 1 because I saw the dragon which is an eel, but I still called it a dragon. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I love when people draw like just magnificent creatures. So I was like, the dragon dies in chapter 2, I will not continue because I would be too heartbroken. And then or if it dies before the 3 chapters are up. But if it doesn't die, then I will keep reading. And the dragon, the eel, has not died yet. So I have to keep reading because that makes me hopeful that there will be more fantastic beasts in the future. Like, I am very excited for what they're going to draw. Plus, the art has, been really pretty in a lot of places. So I just want to see where this goes. Plus, like you guys said, there was a lot of good conversation. So I'm looking forward to it.
And now for the serious opinion. So, overall, honestly, we haven't really talked about this much, but I like how they opened up with a little bit of insight into some mystery long-haired boy who may or may not actually be the 25th BAM. Like, all the signs would lead toward that, but we technically don't know for absolute certain yet. But let's just go with the presumption that it is. So it's like that combined with how we were presented with BAM so far is like, he has layers of motivation for why he's so focused on this, and I appreciated that we got that early enough in the story where we still have time to view him as more than just some reckless mook just charging forward with no regard for his life. Now we know why that doesn't matter. And also, I got to see more of Princess Yuri because I am biased. I rate. I definitely rate. And also to see some more insight into just how intelligent Evan actually is as, a whatever his position is. I kind of forgot the name right now. Navigator thing. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, got to see a whole lot of that. More of the chaotic neutral that is head on. More of the white armored eel. Got to say the full title every time. And more than that, we left off with a point of intrigue where the needle that's supposed to be able to pop just about anything failed at its one job in life. Honestly, I feel sad for the Black March right now. I have to see how it redeems itself. So, yeah, I'd keep going. All right, passengers, we have touched down and are reaching the disembarking area in the airport. You are free to unbuckle your seatbelts, get your luggage from the overhead bins, and do not elbow each other in the faces unless you have just seen your favorite sports team win a game. Now then, our flight attendants will kindly direct you out of the plane.
Thank you guys for choosing Top Flight. If you have any more cookies that you didn't eat, please leave them in the bin because I'm totally not going to eat the leftovers. And we will see you all next time.
All right, folks, we made it back. Unbuckle your seatbelts. Get out the plane. We'll see you next week.
I hope you all had a wonderful time reading with us. Bye-bye.
All right, passengers. So that was the end of the video. Again, this is Top Flight Reads Tower of God, Chapter 3. If there's another series you would like us to read, drop it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this series, you can find a link in the description below to Webtoons and to Crunchyroll, where it's on an anime. If you like the video, leave a like. If you like the series, go ahead and subscribe if you want to. Again, this has been Top Flight Reads Tower of God. See you all next week. TTFN.